So navigate to the Jobs menu under Projects. And then for the job that you wish to link the scopes to, go to the job dashboard. On the left side of the job dashboard, there's a link for BOQs. Click on that. And this shows all the BOQs that you have added for this particular job C28. Now for each BOQ here, to the right side, there's a small plus icon. Basically, if you click on this plus icon, this will let you link a particular scope item to this BOQ. So let's say what we did here is to this BOQ miscellaneous items at plinth level, we're going to link this scope digging into it. And so now miscellaneous items at plinth level has this scope digging linked to it. So what that means is whatever the schedule for digging is, whatever the estimate for digging is added, all those will now apply to this scope for miscellaneous items at plinth level. So let's say if we add one more scope to this. So this way you can add more than one scope into a BOQ. However, when a scope has been added into a BOQ, it cannot be added to any other BOQ. What that means is this digging scope that I just added into this miscellaneous items, this scope, let's say, or even the selected soil scope, I will not be able to add to any other BOQ in this particular job. So to summarize, the link between BOQ to scope is one to many. However, once a scope has been linked to a particular BOQ, that particular scope cannot be used for cannot be used for any other BOQ. So what is the impact of linking a scope to a BOQ? Well, it's twofold. Requirement number one is that the schedule for this scope now also applies to the schedule for this BOQ. So for instance, whatever the schedule is for selected soil, that schedule is also applicable for this BOQ. So let's go and check the schedule for this. If we click on the pencil mark here, this will let us edit this scope. So for instance, this has a planned start of 20th September and a planned finish of 29th November. So let's go back to that BOQ again. Similarly, whatever the quantity and the standard rate for this scope is, that will be added into the standard cost for this BOQ. So for instance, for this BOQ, I have added these two scopes. So right now, both of these two scopes neither have a quantity nor do they have a standard rate. But let's fix that. Let's click on this. And let's add a particular quantity for this. Let's say 200 cubic meter at 550 rupees per cubic meter. Okay, now let's go back to this again. And now when we see that whatever the cost for this selected soil scope is, that got added into the cost for this BOQ. So the concept here is that in order to deliver this particular BOQ, to the client, you are going to have to execute these two scopes. Now these two scopes cost 110,000 rupees here, and this one right now we haven't set up a cost, so let's add a cost to this. So let's put 5,000 square meters at 4.25, and let's save that. Let's go back to the BOQ again. And now, so what that means is that in order to execute this digging scope, you're going to have to spend 21,250 rupees. In order to execute this selected soil scope, you're going to have to spend 110,000 rupees. So the two together comprise the set of activities or set of tasks that you need to do in order to deliver this BOQ. So in order to deliver this BOQ, you're going to have to spend the sum of the cost of these two particular scopes, which is 1,31,250. So you can repeat this process and you can keep adding scopes to different BOQs. So let's say I added this. And this process can be continued for all the BOQs until all the scopes have been linked to the BOQ. So what you're doing here is you are linking the client deliverable with the execution items. So in order to deliver to the client these BOQs, you need to execute those particular scopes, and you keep repeating them until you have completed a breakdown of all the BOQ items.